Welcome. Today we're going to learn Parshas Savo. So Parshas Savo starts with the Bikurim, that you bring the first fruits, you bring it to the Beis HaMikdash, and then you say a vidui. That means you thank the Rebbeinu Shalom for everything he gave you. You start with with the history, and then if you have the land, and you have the produce, and you thank the Rebbeinu Shalom. So it says like this: V'martei love, that you come to the Kohen and you say to him, Rashi says, V'martei love, she'enach kofei toiv. You tell the Rebbeinu Shalom that you're not ingrate. That, look, I'm coming, I'm thanking you and everything, you're not an ingrate. Why does Rashi express it in a negative way? Why doesn't he just say, you say to him, you say to the God that, look, I'm grateful, I'm coming to express my gratitude. Shani makir toiv, I have a course of toiv to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Why are you saying she'encha kofei toiv? You're not an ingrate. So, I'd like to, when I come to Bar-Mitzvah, there's a certain speech that I give by Bar-Mitzvahs. I have to give a drasha. And this is a drasha that I usually give, assuming that it's a different crowd. If it's the same crowd, then I try to avoid saying the same thing. But this is what I like to say. I say like this, that this Shabbos, this last Shabbos, or the next Shabbos, whatever, that this Shabbos, the father of the Bar-Mitzvah boy got up in shul and he said, Baruch Shepterani Ma'asher Shel Zeh. I thank the Rebbeinu Shalom that he parted me, that until now I was responsible for everything that this boy did, and I had to pay for it, and Baruch Hashem, now he's a Bar Mitzvah, he's a Gadol, good riddance, he's on his own, I don't have to worry about what he does anymore, he has to worry about his own Eishim, I'm finished. Why would you say such a thing? Why would you get up in shul and say such a thing and embarrass the Bar Mitzvah boy in the middle of the shul? You're talking about his Eishim, and if you really feel that way, you really feel that you want to say good riddance because you're part of him now, and you don't have to worry about his Eishim. So say it during Shemoneh Esrei, or go in the corner somewhere and say it. Why do you have to get up in the middle of the shul and say Baruch Shepterani Ma'asher Shel Zeh? It's very, 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 very strange thing. And also, I would assume that if you come over to the father of a mitzvah boy and say, are you excited? He says, yeah, I'm excited. What are you excited about? What do you mean? It's my son's bar mitzvah, Baruch Hashem, so much nachas, he's growing up. That's what it's on his mind. Why? I don't think many fathers that's on their mind, that Baruch Hashem, good riddance, not pata from his Eishim. So why do we have this minig of Baruch Shepterani Ma'asher Shel Zeh? Which really, if you think about it, it's a very odd minig. So, there's a pasuk in Vayetzei that when Yosef is born, and this word I'm going to tell you now. It's about, I said this word, but I heard it also many other people say this word. It's quite an obvious word. But it says that after a few years, Vayiskel Kimisrochel Vayishmaeleo. Vatar Teled Ben, she had a son. Vatoyma, she said, Osav Elakim Escher Posi. Hashem took away my shame. And then she called him Yosef Li Ben Acher, but this has nothing to do with the name. This is just a remark that she made. Hashem took away my humiliation. What does this mean? So Rashi says like this. Yeah, was humiliated that she doesn't have children, and Leah has children, and she's being left out, and she has no chelik of his poshet, what it means. But Rashi said like this, Medrash Agoda, Kol zman she'ein l'isha ben, ein lo b'mi litlei serchoina. She cannot, if she doesn't have a child, she cannot blame, who's she going to blame? She's the only one in the house. She can't blame anyone. Mishiyesh lo ben, when she has a child, if anything happens that she's responsible for, she could blame the kid. The husband's going to say, Mi shiber keli zeh, who broke this keli, who broke this vase? Mi ochal teinem elu, who ate up all these tainim that I was hoping to have them, to eat when I come home? Bincha. Then she'll say, your son did it. So now, she doesn't have to be embarrassed. She broke the vase. She wasn't careful. She broke the vase. The husband will come home. He's going to be upset. Who broke the vase? The kid did it. The baby did it. He knocked it over. This is what she's excited about. She thanks to Yosef Hashem es Cherpasi. She's thanking the Rebbeinu Shalom. You took away my shame because we're talking about here. We're talking about Rachel Imenu. Rachel Imenu. She's a Neviah. Rachel Imenu. And we're talking about Yaakov, the Bechir Sheba Ovis. So Yaakov, the Bechir Sheba Ovis, who's Kulei Torah, Kulei Yerushalayim, like that. And he comes home and he sees a broken vase, and he's going to turn around to Rachel and say, why'd you break the vase? And Rachel's going to say, okay, Baruch Hashem, now I could blame it on the child. It doesn't make sense. This is it, and this is what she thinks of. So the answer is, I think it's pretty pashut, that when you talk about what benefit did she get from having this child, she got many benefits. She had a child. A mother wants a child. She had a child. She was, a child. She was not lonely. She had a child. She was busy taking care of him. She had one of the shvatim. She had one of the shvatim. She became an em of Klal Yisrael through this child. And she was like, she's our matriarch. And it's only through this child, which is a tremendous, tremendous chus and a tremendous gift that she got. So if you make a list if she would have made a list of all the benefits that she got from having this baby, the most inconsequential benefit that she got, the very bottom of the list, is in case Yaakov will come home and he'll give her a dream with the nose about a broken vase, and maybe she's gonna feel maybe there was a little bit of an accusation, then she can say the baby did it. This is kamat nothing. But the Hakoras HaToiv has to be complete. It has to be shalom. You have to thank the Rebbeinu Shalom for everything, not only for the gewaldige chacham that she had from having a child, but even for her ability to blame a broken vase on her baby. That's what Hakoras HaToiv is. So I say like this by the Bar-Mitzvah. I don't get into long. I say like this. Usually it's true. The Bar-Mitzvah boy usually is a very good boy. They're just a good boy. He's not he's just a good boy most of the time. He goes to yeshiva, he learns, he's good at home. Sometimes he gets into a little spat with a sibling, so what? That's normal. But he's a good boy. And the father, when it comes to Bar-Mitzvah, of course, he's excited, the nachas, that he's able to bring this child to bring him into Torah mitzvahs, and his heart is full. He's not, but you want to be makir tov to the Rebbeinu Shalom. You can be makir tov. You have to be makir tov for everything, for the broken vase too, complete. What kind of an einish does this kid have already? This is a good boy. The einish is so trivial. What kind of einish? The father doesn't think about it. I don't think, I know father will think, Baruch Hashem now, good riddance. I don't have to worry about his action. But Lamaisa, there is an Indian that if he has something that the father is responsible for it. So the father gets up and he says, I'm thanking the Rebbeinu Shalom for everything, even for the Aisha Shalzeh. This is the Osef Hashem Cherpasi of the broken vase. This is what he does. So when you come over here and you're coming to bring the Bikurim to Beis HaMikdash, and you're thanking the Rebbeinu Shalom, and you're thanking him for the history of Klal Yisrael, and you thank him for giving you the land, for growing the crops, But this is just the tip of the iceberg of what you have to thank the Rebbeinu Shalom for. You have to thank the Rebbeinu Shalom for your health, for that you have a family, that you can walk, that the sky, for the beautiful sky and the birds singing in trees and the air that you can breathe. And I mean, the list is endless. What do you thank Him for? Everything. This is just a little bit. These are the high points, but everything. I mean, the other thing, everything's a high point. So Hakaras HaTov, there's no end to the Hakaras HaTov that you have to give the Rebbeinu Shalom. And if the point of Bikurim is coming, that I'm coming to be Makir Tov, you can't do it. It's not possible. There's no way you could be Makir Tov. But if you don't say this vidui, if this minimum, if you don't say it, then you're a kafui toiv. Then you're an ingrate. If you say this, you're not an ingrate anymore. But you're chiyuv to be makir toiv to Rebbeinu Shalom. You're not yotze with this. You're never yotze. The Hakaras HaTov to Rebbeinu Shalom is endless. You think a person thinks, Baruch Hashem, I thank the Rebbeinu Shalom that I can move. You see, a person has. People have trouble, they have the Chas v'Shalom Parkinson's or anything. And Baruch Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom, I don't have any movement issues. I can move, I have no problem. But look at the Birchas HaShachar that we say, look at Chazal who Mesaken, the Birchas HaShachar. Say, Ashnos Nesach Vina means that I can, the first thing you wake up because you heard the rooster, so that wakes you up, and right away you makir tov that you can hear, and then the next brachas are about your level in chiyuv of mitzvahs, and then you say pakei chivrim, you open how you can see, malbash harumim, you can get dressed, and then matir asurim. What does matir asurim mean? You can sit up. A person can sit up. That's you have the ability to sit up, but then you say zoykek fufufim. Not only can I sit up, I can also stand, which is like another part of movement. And then you say roik aras alamoyim means that I have balance. I could stand still. Of course, I could stand up, but then I could fall down. So that you could stand and remain standing. That's a big thing. You can stand up. Then you say sheichem tzadik gover, that I can walk. That's also something. Then say Shosli Kol Sarki, that means that the provide shoes. That means I could clamber on rocks and things. So not only could I just walk on a straight path, I can walk and climb everywhere. So the Chazal is saying, you can't just say, thank you for giving me not paralyzed, that I can move. Every single aspect of your movement, you have to be marking for. You could sit, you could stand, you could remain standing, you could walk, you could climb. All these things, everything is, the Chazal went into detail. They went into detail. In Hakaras HaTov, the detail is very important. Every single thing. I'll say a general thing. You have to thank in detail and until the very last detail. The broken vase, the einshay of the Bar-Mitzvah boy, the good Bar-Mitzvah boy, his einish, details until the smallest detail that you can think of, you have to thank. Talking about Hakaras HaTov, I just want to say one more thought about it, that there's an Indian of Hakaras HaTov to a diamond, to an inanimate object. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't do remark on the dam, on the river, because the river saved him. The Gemara says that the well from which you drank, you don't throw a stone into it. So you have Hakaras HaTov to a diamond. How do you have Hakaras HaTov to a diamond? What's the point of having Hakaras HaTov to a diamond? You didn't do the sand because that you buried the mitzvah in the sand. What's the saying of having Hakaras HaTov to the diamond? So I think the pshat is like this. You don't have to have Hakaras diamond has no seichel, no consciousness, nothing. You don't have to tell them anything. The Hakaras HaTov you have to Rabbeinu Shalom. But when you drank from the well, you came in, you were thirsty, and Rebbeinu Shalom provided you with a well, and you drank from the well, so you're very thankful to Rebbeinu Shalom. Now comes a year later, and you're not thirsty anymore. You had yourself, and now you want to take a stone and throw it in. The Hakaras HaTov that you have to Rebbeinu Shalom has no statute of limitations. You have to be thankful to Rebbeinu Shalom today the same way you were thankful to him at the time when you came in thirsty and you drank from that well. There's no difference. After I thanked you yesterday, I should be thankful again today? I mean, come on, that was yesterday. No. The Hakaras HaTov is constant. When Rebbeinu Shalom does something good for you, the Hakaras HaTov is constant. So at the time when the Rebbeinu Shalom gave you the well, he led you to the well, he provided you with the well, at that time, to throw garbage into it would be extremely disrespectful. How would you do such a thing? The Rebbeinu Shalom is giving you water and you're throwing something into it. How could you do that? Today is no different than it was then. When you come to that well, and even though now it's a year or two later, and you're not thirsty, and you're well fed and well watered or whatever, what's the word they say for water? Hydrated. You're well hydrated and everything is good, and you come and you see the well. It's no different. The Hakaras HaTov you have to feel right now. So that's why you're talking about a daimim. Is you're not being makir tov to the daimim. You're being makir tov to Rebbeinu Shalom for what he did for you with this daimim a long time ago. It doesn't matter how long it was. Hakaras HaTov has no statute of limitations. Even if you were makir tov before, it doesn't mean that you were yaitza. You're never yaitza. Okay, good. Now I'd like to go on a little bit further in the parsha. Just a thought here. Before the Teichacha, the same thing appears before and after. Let's talk about not in the Teichacha. In other words, Im Shemaya Tishma B'Kayil Hashem. If you listen to the Rebbeinu Shalom, then you're going to have Kol HaBrachas Eila, Borchat Abir, Borchat Basoda, and then it says like this: Yitin Hashem Eseivecha Akomim Alecha Negofim Fanecha. Your enemies will run away from you. I mean, I guess even if you listen to Hashem, you still have enemies, but they're going to run away from you. B'derech echad yetzu eilecha, they'll come to you b'derech echad, u'b'shiva drachim yenusul fanecha. They run away in 7 drachim. 7 rows they'll run away, and one they come towards you. What is the union of 7? What is 7? I mean, it could be 7 has some kind of numerological, Kabbalistic significance, but Pashup Pshat, what does it mean? Why 7? It's just like a poetic word. So I would like to say, the Pashup Pshat here, that the compass has 8 points. It has cardinal points and the ordinal points. That's north, south, east, west, and northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. 8 points. And in the Torah, those are used by the Mizbeach, the Keren, the Marovis. So there are 8 points. I mean, theoretically, it has infinite points, but practically speaking, it has 8 points. So when your enemies come towards you and they see you in the distance, they could run away in any point, any direction of the compass, except for where you are. So since there are 8 ways, where you are, you can't go, that leaves them with 7 ways. Thought. Anyway. Okay, so now in Teichacha, in the end of the Teichacha, it says like this. After, like a lot of klolos, Gam kol choli v'chol maka asher leikosu b'sefer HaTorah hazois yalim Hashem alecha ad hashamdach. Now, even the makas that are not here in the Torah, I mean, there are plenty of makas here in the Torah, but even more makas that are not mentioned, he didn't do that also to you. Like, why all these makas? Why so many makas? Like, it's not enough for everything I was here till now? What does it mean? Kol makas are the cost of the Sefer HaTorah Hazois. So over here it says like this. It says, the Sefer HaTorah Hazois. Lashon Nekeva, Sefer HaTorah Hazois. In the Tzavim, it says, Chol Oloi Sabris, Aksuva b'Sefer HaTorah Hazeh, which is Zohar. So here it's Nekeva, here it's Zohar. So Rashi says like this. Rashi has this kasha. Lumaliksiv b'sefer Torah azois, lashon nekeva, musav ala Torah. When it says over there azois, it's not going on sefer Torah, it's going on Torah. And Torah is nekeva. Sefer Torah, the phrase, the phrase, the adjectival phrase, I think it's called. That is Zohar. So Mamela Sefer Hazeh. And you see this from the Pesach HaTaimim. Because if you have, you have Mercha Tipcha. Tipcha is like a pause. And then, so if there's a pause, that stops it. So over here in Savo it says B'Sefer HaTorah. It says Mercha Tipcha B'Sefer HaTorah. That's one phrase, Mercha Tipcha. But over here it says B'Sefer, which is a Tipcha. That's one thing, and then it says the Torah Zois. So the Taimim separate the Sefer from the Torah. So over here, since the Sefer is separated from the Torah, and we're just talking about the Torah, then we say a Torah has Zois, Lashon Nekeva. Over here, where Sefer HaTorah is connected, but you can see that from the Taimim, then the phrase Sefer HaTorah is Zohar, then you say Hazeh. This is what Rashi says. But he doesn't explain why over here the Torah will separate it, and why over here the Torah will combine it. I mean, I would think a Sefer Torah is a unit. So why over here is it separated? So the pasuk before it says like this: "V'heishiv b'cha it's called Madvi Mitzrayim asher yigortem mipneiim v'davku bach." Everything that happened in Mitzrayim. So Rashi says asher yigorta, that you were afraid. So Rashi says, when they saw all these terrible makas, so then they saw this, say, oh, please, Hashem, don't let this happen to us. He says, of course, he brings from, it says like this, You want to scare somebody? You can scare him with something that he knows what it is, that he's afraid of it. If you've met this monster and now you could scare him, this monster is going to get you. This maka is going to get you. Scary. But if you tell him something which he has never seen, never heard of, it's something he's not afraid of it, and all you're going to try to create this idea, this scary thing, but he doesn't know what it is. It's not as scary as something that's from his experience. This is what Rashi says. Now, the word sefer could mean is a book, but I didn't mark it now. But in Bereshis it says. Zeh sefer toldos Adam. Beginning of Parak. What does Sefer Toldos Adam mean? Was there a book called Toldos Adam? So Rashi says no. Sefer Toldos Adam Zuhi Sfiras Toldos Adam, the story of the history of a person. So Sefer doesn't necessarily mean a book. It means Sfiras Dvarim, a story. In Chukas, we have the same thing. Alken Yomer b'Sefer Milchamas Hashem Ezvav b'Sufa. Well, what Sefer is this Milchamas? I know the Ramban wrote a Sefer Milchamas Hashem on the Rif, but which Sefer Milchamas Hashem are we talking about over here? So Rashi says, what does it mean, Sefer Milchamas Hashem? Kishemesaprim nisim shenasu laviseinu yisapru ezvav b'Sufa. So Sefer means Sfiras Dvarim. When they're going to tell the story of what happened, they're going to talk about this. So it doesn't mean there's a book. There's no book. It just means Sefer is a story. The Gemara says in Gitna Daf Chaf Aleph, I think, that you learn out from Sefer Krisis that you need a Sfiras Dvarim. Sefer doesn't necessarily, besides Sefer meaning a book, but the Tanoim Darshan that it means Sfiras Dvarim. You have to tell the story. So over here also, what he's saying is that you can only scare somebody with something that he's afraid of it. So it had to have happened. Either you saw it or you heard about it from your parents, or it's something that you know about. So the Mitzrayim happened, or some different kind of problems that you know about. So all these things are scary. So it says, Kol machlev v'chol maka asher lo yikosov b'sefer haTorah zayis, that even a makkah over here from all these makkahs that is not written in the narrative part of the Torah. It didn't happen in the Torah, it didn't happen in Mitzrayim or somewhere else, that you know about it from past experience. Even the makkahs that you don't know about it from past experience, and you don't necessarily have the most fear from such a makkah, that will also happen to you. That's what the pasuk is saying. So b'sefer, so the Tipcha separates the Sefer from the Torah. We're not talking about the Sefer Torah, not something that's not written in the scroll in the Sefer Torah, something that does not appear in the Sefer of the Torah, in the Sfiras Dvorim, in the narrative portion of the Torah. The Torah has other portions also. It has genealogies, it has mitzvahs, it has isurim, it has warnings. But there's many parts to the Torah, but there are also narrative parts to the Torah. So any makkah which does not appear in the narrative part of the Torah, and therefore maybe you're not so scared of it, nevertheless it will also happen to you. This is what he says. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next week.